Paul van Dyk, welcome to Top Billing.
Thank you.
And of course, welcome to South Africa. You've played here a couple of times. How does the crowd receive you?
Well, it's always fun. This is why I always come back. They they're really open-minded when it comes down to music, and they're very energetic and they're very giving. So it feels really comfortable being on stage.
You were the first artist ever to receive a Grammy for Best Electronic Dance Music. I mean, how does that feel as a DJ to know that so many people are responding to your music?
Well, the thing is for me, first of all, I'm a musician. I would make music regardless, but obviously it's the best thing in the world when you play something of yourself and the audience goes wild. And especially it's my new album is coming up, so I play all this new music and people, they obviously cannot know it and they still have a good time, so that gives me a good feeling.
Western music was forbidden where you grew up, so how does somebody that isn't exposed to any of that end up being the biggest DJ in the world?
I was in the fortunate position to actually grow up in East Berlin, so we could illegally listen to West Berlin radio stations, and of course, all my friends did it, I did it. So my musical education came through the radio first of all, and this is where I actually heard the first stuff we would probably call early house music, and I really enjoyed it. And when the wall went down, of course, I went to all the clubs in Berlin, and I got the biggest fan of electronic music.
You're also an advocate for drug-free partying. I heard that's why you dropped the E off your surname.
No, it has nothing to do with that. It was always without an E, the name. I grew up, basically listening to the music in front of the radio, so I was far away from taking any substances or drinking something really, and so for me it's just the pure love of music, and I don't tell anybody what they should do. I'm just saying this music is so full of power and energy, you don't really need anything if you just open up and let the music take you.
You've done so many collaborations, but I heard that your favorite collaboration was when your wife sang on a few of your tracks.
Yeah, there's it's always a very sort of special occasion, obviously. I remember, recording Together We Will Conquer with her. I had the layout of the track ready, and then just, what do you think, it's you come up with something and sing on it, and I had candles in the studio. It was really cozy. It was kind of like a late summer night, and yeah, it was actually pretty cool.
Your next album, Evolution, is due for release in March.
It's a very sort of important piece of music for me, of course, probably with every musician when you have an album ready. And electronic music started at a small subculture, and meanwhile it's the biggest music culture in the world, and somehow it reflects a little bit, what sort of happened, and it's how I think electronic music should sound like now.
When you're on stage and you're playing and you're dancing and all these people are going at you, I mean, you must be feeding off a tremendous amount of energy. That must feel amazing.
Some of the tracks actually on the album are composed right in front of my audience, so I was actually getting a direct feedback while I was playing something, and then I played it a little different. It's kind of and sort of checked out how it works. So it's a very intense process.
But you do have a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
But you obviously travel a fair deal, which means you get to experience a whole lot of different cuisines.
Absolutely.
Have you eaten anything interesting in South Africa?
I had one of those stews before in that sort of...
Potjie.
I think this is what it's called.
Yeah, so you've got to say, Ek hou van potjiekos.
Ek hou van potjiekos.
Oh, there you go. You've just said that you love that potjiekos, the food in the pot.
Beside of maybe being, a test eater, I think I have the best job in the world.
Paul van Dyk, thank you so much for chatting to us.
You're welcome.